It's better if the microphone's on. I do that. I tend to do that. I know. I got to start looking down before I actually start talking. Anyways, welcome to the Geek Saga. Again, it is great to be on. Guys, what can I say? It's been a long road to get to 80% of this done. But I'm almost there, almost to 100%. I'm really excited because I'm starting to have fun with this. I was a little getting down on myself about how it was looking and stuff, but I don't know. It's starting to look good. I'm really happy. It's starting to look more like what I had envisioned in my brain than I did before. But soon, and I mean really soon, we're going to be starting to shoot our first pilot of this show in this little studio. And I'm telling you, once this thing is set, it's going to look good. I'm really excited. But now you could actually see my counter, which I'm not too keen on, but it's fine. I'm going to get this thing fixed up soon too. And then we won't be seeing so much of this stuff. But anyways, guys, welcome to the show. If you guys have never watched the show before, obviously it's usually two salty veterans. Today it's only one. That's a huge geek. And we have a special guest on tonight, which we're really excited about. We're going to be talking cosplay. If you guys don't know what cosplay is, shame on you. You guys should know. I mean, shoot, we're a bunch of nerds. Seriously. But if you do, great. She's done a lot of like events and a lot of cosplays, but we're not going to get into it just yet. I've already given away a little too much. But what I do want to say is I had a great time at Pasadena Comic-Con, had met a lot of great people. I'm really excited to talk about some of these things before we get into our guests. Guys, Diabolic, these guys were awesome. Probably should have. You know what I'm going to start doing is putting notes behind things so I can remember stuff a little bit better. Because I could be like, oh yeah. But check them out. This is issue number 1. They were great. They have their comics have some great technology built into it. So they spent years working this out to be able to get this thing. Look at that. Great technology. So there's 2 comics in one. Yes, 2 comics. If you're into like that grindhouse horror style, like 70s type stuff, these guys are amazing when it comes to that stuff. And also check out their Instagrams, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, all that stuff under Diabolic. Check them out, guys, because these guys are amazing. I had a lot of fun doing an interview at Pasadena Comic-Con with them, talking to them. We had a lot of fun. But I'm looking forward to having them on the show and also getting issue number 2. So Julio, I know you sell them at your comic book store. You need to hold an issue for me, please. An issue number 2. Great stuff. Also, I want to talk about some hot sauce. It's actually really good hot sauce. And Sean, if you're watching this, it's not to put it down in any way because it's not very hot, which is great. I don't like super hot sauce that's going to burn my mouth to the point where I can't taste the sauce and the food that I'm eating. And I want to tell you guys that Bad Boy hot sauce is amazing. I've got all 3 of them, made a deal with them, and I got all 3 of them. I also got a shirt out of the interview, which was awesome. But Bad Boy, premium crafted hot sauce. Check them out, guys, at Bad Boy Eats. I just had to order another 2 bottles of the, I think it was Cobra Pepper. This one is the Cobra Venom, which is the hottest one that he has, which has Carolina Ghost Peppers, which the reason why it's still closed is because I'm scared. I really am. I don't do hot too well. But I tried the other one, which has habanero and mango. Oh my God, that stuff was amazing. It was really good. Guys, check them out at Bad Boy Eats. Go onto their website. Great prices for their hot sauce. Try all 3 of them. But had a great interview with him. Had a great interview with Jonathan and Evan from Prime One. The guys, the voice of Shockwave, the voice of Jazz. Those guys were awesome. I had a lot of fun talking to them too. So it was a great time overall this past weekend. We got a lot of great interviews. I actually got to meet Michael Gross. If you guys don't know who that is, oh my gosh. Again, you guys need to know these people. Michael Gross, Family Ties. I know that just went over a lot of your people's heads because that's, back in the 80s. That's my time. But Tremors, yes, back in the 80s. My time. No, 90s actually. But still, great movies. He was awesome. Love talking to him. He took the time to actually get from behind the booth, stood right there with me, talked to me about his experience on it, and it was amazing. He was an awesome dude. So, guys, if you didn't get to Pasadena Comic-Con this year, get out next year. The great thing about Pasadena Comic-Con is it's still relatively small, so it gives you an opportunity to actually meet a lot more of these voice actors from like a lot of your favorite shows and stuff like that. They come out to these things and you're closer to them and you get a chance to actually speak to them and get autographs and all that stuff. So check that out, guys, next year. I'll be out there actually next year and I'll have a booth. I actually will have a booth out there. So really quick, let's get through our affiliates. If I can find my mouse. It's a problem with having multiple screens. All right. We want to get down here to our affiliates because we want to talk about, kick it off with Ulanzi. So Ulanzi is a great company. We use them quite a bit. A lot of the lights that you see that are coming down, and I didn't get a chance to install the lights underneath, but a lot of the lights that I have going on here are Ulanzi lights. My freaking key lights in front of me are Ulanzi lights. They've got a lot of great products. I wouldn't talk about them, and that goes for anything that I ever advertise. I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't use it myself and actually put some trust into it. Guys, check them out. It's a great brand. I love their stuff. If you have any issues, customer service is amazing. They will get you a new product long before your old busted one gets to them. So check them out. Click the link that's in the bio for the affiliate code. When you buy from them, it helps us out. So check that out. Also, we've got Renegade Game Studios, which is, of course, right back there. I think we got the edge of it. Back there, I do have the Transformers deck building game. They've also got a lot of great RPGs that are Transformers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony. The list goes on of all the IPs that they have. But if you know how to play D&D 5th edition, you'll be able to play any of their RPGs. And then also, they've got some great deck building games. Those games, their artwork on there, freaking amazing. Check them out, guys. But again, they're in the affiliate. The link is in our bio. Check them out. Another affiliate. This one is a friend of ours, but we love this stuff because we actually use it. Both me and David, there we go, that's better. Both me and David will attest to how good Legendary Supplements stuff is. When it comes to Kraken, I have my cases here. Bam, I have them on the shelf too. But great stuff, guys. It's a shot. You drink one of these little bad boys. It's not an energy drink. It is a focus drink. So if you're playing games, if you're trying to work, trying to study, this is the great stuff to use. I actually use this stuff. I've used it on the range. We have to go qualify, so I took it before I actually had to do it, and I actually did pretty well. It helped me out to get a little bit more steady. It balanced out my normal nerves because it's like, shoot, I got to qual. I never have an issue, but still, you never know. Anyways, check them out, guys. You can go straight to their website. The code is Geek Saga 77. You put that into the code, you get 10% off your first purchase, and tell them that we sent you. They've got two other flavors, which is Sour Pumpkin Grape and Melon Mellow. So check them out, guys. Last but not least, we are talking Movo. Movo is another great company that we use a lot, and the mic that you hear me on is a Movo mic. Yes, there's the wire. Yeah, there's the wire. Yes, it's a lav. I switched for my U300 because the way I've now changed this place up, the U300 isn't working for me, but it is still a great microphone. I still have it. I will not get rid of that microphone because I can use it in other capacities. And a lot of our microphones are all Movo. We used Movo over the weekend at Pasadena Comic-Con, and it worked great. No issues whatsoever. We got audio. Ignore the issues that we had prior to once we started rolling, we were good. But it was not a Movo mic that I had slapped on there. I had used something else. But once I put on my Movo mic, it was good. So there you go, guys. That is it for all our affiliates. Let me switch back to boom and boom. All right, guys. So, like I said, let me crack this open because I'm a little thirsty. Because I'm trying to get liquid death. Please, I love you, I really do. I want you. I'm drinking their Killer Cola. Good stuff. But anyways, all right, guys. So enough of my jabbering and babbling and everything else. What I want to do is bring on our special guest tonight, which I was really excited that reached out to her and she was like, sure. I said, really? So I was really excited. I was like, all right, cool. We'll bring you on. So last week she was supposed to be on, but we didn't come on last week because we had technical issues. Technical difficulties. It always happens. There's always one thing or another. But anyways, guys, let me bring on. Are you ready? I'll take that. I'll take a yes. Okay. All right, we're bringing in Oregon from who is Cos Bunny. There we go. What's going on?
Hi, I just switched to my headphones, so I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes, I can definitely hear you.
Awesome, awesome. Hello, everybody.
I was like, can you hear me? You're just like, oh, it's like, we're going. We're just gonna roll with it. Why not? That's how it always is. It's all right. But what's going on? How you doing?
Good, good. Happy to be here. Excited
That's
to be here.
awesome. I'm glad you actually made it on because I know last week I had said you're gonna come on. We've been waiting, and then technical difficulties. Couldn't do it, but whatever. You're here today, but it actually gave a chance for you because you just said you went over to was it Fanime?
Yeah, I was in Fanime this past weekend in San Jose, California.
And how was that?
It was fun. I've been going to Fanime for I want to say like the last 3-ish years, 3-4 years. It's always fun to see friends that I don't get to see. I get a lot of friends who come out of town, like out of state. Like I have friends in Reno who come, so I get to see them, which I never really get to do. It's really tiring though. It is a 4-day convention because it goes over Memorial Day weekend. So by Monday, I was a corpse, but it was still fun.
That's most, unless you're going to like San Diego, most are just 3 days. So to go 4 days, whew,
yeah, I think the longest one that I've heard of is Anime Expo, because they go through 4th of July. So if 4th of July ends like or is on like a Tuesday, then their convention is 5 days long. It goes Friday to Tuesday. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Is that the one in Vegas or is the one here down in LA?
It's the one in LA.
Jeez. No wonder the tickets are like crazy expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's cool. But it's crazy how when you go to the conventions and if you've gone to enough of them, you start to see a lot of the same people over and over again. You look forward to seeing your friends again that you haven't seen in like forever or that live out of state, which is, it just goes to show how small, but yet how big our community is.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So what was your cosplay for this past 4 days?
So Friday I was an original design of Princess Kita as a fairy. It was inspired by an artist that I really like who does original designs, and I love Princess Kita. She's like my favorite character of all time, and she doesn't have one of her, so I made one. And then Saturday I was Queen of the Damned. Probably my most iconic cosplay. And then Sunday, I was supposed to do Ann Wheeler, which is Zendaya's character from The Greatest Showman, but I was tired, so I was just regular me, and I went shopping instead.
Oh, that's cool. So you were only there 3 days out of the 4?
We were there on Monday as well, but we left quite early, like around 1, I think we left. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So Normally when we do our cons, like LA is the biggest for us. Friday is usually our day of just we'll walk around, we'll look and see what's going on, we'll do our shopping, and then we hit hard on Saturday and Sunday. By the end of the day, it's like you're just your social meter is just emptied.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even want to do anything else. Like even this past Unicon, it's one day. I was there for 4 hours. By the time I was there, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I gotta go
Yeah.
home.
Yeah. And Fanime has a really big nightlife, so everybody's staying up till like 2 in the morning. So
Oh,
add con plus hanging out at night, and you're just exhausted afterwards.
you anime fans are crazy. That's yeah, no, I couldn't. No, there's no way. I think the only time I actually stayed up was I was in Boise and we were hanging out with Ming Chang
Okay, cool.
and he wanted to go bar hopping. I'm not a drinker, but I was all like, I get a chance to hang out with Ming? Let's go. Super cool dude, but I regretted it the next day. I
My
would,
body hurts.
oh yeah. And I was sharing a hotel room with 3 other guys and I was on the floor because I was,
No.
yeah.
Oh no.
So like I'm trying to get up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm too old for this. I can't do this anymore. I was like, that's no more. Next day, Ming, who's about, I think he's about my age, was all like, hey, so you left early last night. I was like, hell yeah, I left early. You guys are nuts. He's like, yeah, we got back in at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Nah, bro. Nah.
Yeah, I feel that.
But okay, so aside from you guys that are anime fans or crazy, cosplay. Let's start off by how did Morgan start cosplay? So you were born and now you're doing cosplay. So how did you get started?
Well, like my whole life, I've been very artistic. I grew up in the dance world. I danced for 20 plus years. I started out as an art major in college. Like I drew all the time and painted all the time. So I've always been artsy and wanted an art outlet. I actually was introduced to cosplay in high school by some kids who were cosplaying at school. And I thought it was weird. I thought it was so weird. I was like, why are you in gray face paint going to math class? Like, I don't understand. But I at the time I still am really into Halloween, and I was really into like making my own costumes for Halloween. And I decided with some friends to do a group Halloween group, costume group of the Maze Runners. It's a book series and a movie
Oh
series
yeah.
for those who don't know. Yeah. Okay. Because my friend's birthday happened to be on Halloween and she wanted to go to a corn maze. And I was like, hee hee ha ha, how funny would it be to dress up as maze runners and go running around in a corn maze? But anyways, long story short, to make that costume, I was doing research online, stumbled across a bunch of really big names now, their YouTube channels when they first started out, and was like, oh, like cosplay is actually kind of cool. I started digging deeper and found a convention in my hometown and made 2 more costumes by myself and went to the convention for the very first time.
Nice.
And that was in like 2016. And ever since, I've been doing it ever since, almost 10 years.
Jeez. 10 years?
Yeah, I'm at year 9 this year, so it'll be 10 next year. But yes.
That's actually pretty awesome. That's crazy. Man. So Maze Runner was your first?
Technically, yes, I guess you could say. Like Maze Runner was like the first costume that got me into cosplay. However, I did make it specifically for Halloween. If you want to say like a costume that I made for the very first convention, it's because I made two at the same time. So it's a tie between Princess Kita and Raven from Teen Titans. I made both of those.
So you know how to sew.
I do.
I'm impressed. I mean, shoot. Yeah. I mean, I kind of can sew. I've got, well, there's a sewing machine over in that corner, sewing machine over in this corner. Yeah. Got a couple, I think one inside, but that's actually pretty cool. So what other, I guess, materials do you work a lot with? I mean, obviously it's going to be material because you sew. Do you do like EVA foam? Do you do any of that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I am multimedia. I like to teach myself new skills. I like to at least learn one new skill. If I can, every costume, if not like at least one a month when I'm building my builds, because I've cut down. I used to try and make like one costume a month, which is insane. Anyways. So I work in a lot of different medias. I work in foam, I work in thermoplastics. I've worked with plexiglass, I've done electronics, wig styling, special effects makeup. Um, yeah, that's like a
Jeez.
majority of them so far. I've been recently trying to teach myself more like sewing and textile skills. So like handwork, like hand beadwork and embroidery, stuff like that is what I've been kind of leaning towards recently.
Yeah, that embroidering and then like hand beadwork. Oh my God, that's crazy.
It's a lot.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, so I had mentioned Flash Gordon. Have you ever seen the movie Flash Gordon?
I have not.
Good night, guys. It was great. Morgan, it was great. No.
Bye, guys.
So great interview. All right. Anyways, so if you want to be able to see some costumes, and I mean some like intricate costumes that were made specifically for a movie that didn't do that great, but has a huge cult following, you've got to watch Flash Gordon.
Okay.
So I got to talk to Melody Anderson. Starts with an A. But she's in Flash Gordon. She specifically held up a picture of her wearing this one gown. And she said, this thing, it weighed 30 pounds. I was like, holy crap. It's a hand beaded dress, but you can't even tell that they're beads. And then she has this whole headdress. Like, they went all out in those costumes. It's crazy, the work that they did. So there you go. Some homework for you, Flash Gordon.
Noted. I love really intricate costumes, so I will watch it.
Yeah, and the sets were also phenomenal. So since you're artsy, you'll see how like detailed a lot of this stuff was. It was amazing. So now sewing. Let's start with that. When did you first get into sewing?
I mean, I used to do like little projects here and there, like growing up. Like I said, I've always been crafty, so I would get into my grandma's sewing kit and like sew buttons onto ribbon. Little kid things. I didn't really start sewing until I got into cosplay, like full garments until I got into cosplay. I hand sewed my first two, just needle and thread. And then after that, my stepmom actually had a sewing machine and she noticed that I was getting into this and she was like, well, I don't use it. You're like, feel free to use it. You're just gonna have to teach yourself, basically. You're gonna have to figure it out on your own. And cosplayer audacity, I had it already then. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And so I literally just taught myself step by step, figuring it out. I'm very good with shapes, so I think that helps me be able to kind of like deconstruct 3D objects in my brain and figure out the shapes of them. So I was able to do that. And honestly, once you figure out the shapes, sewing is pretty straightforward. It's a lot of straight lines, really.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, unless you got the curves that are like right here on a shirt, dress, whatever you want to say, that's when it's like, oh, I actually got to move this thing. I got to actually go. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, that's how I got into sewing. Yeah, literally cosplay. I've learned a lot of things because of this hobby. So
it's crazy how something like this, which a lot of people do make fun of. I mean, let's be honest. There are people out there that are they'll talk crap about it, but then when they really look at the costumes, they're like, "Oh my god, you actually made that?" It's like, yeah, this is what we do. This is how we have fun. This is, you know. But it's crazy how much once you start getting into it, like you want to learn everything.
hmm
It's not just the sewing part. You want to learn how to use EVA foam. It's
hmm
crazy to hear that you touch stuff electronics too. So
yeah,
you
soldering. You like, there's so many things you can learn in cosplay, like soldering, metalwork, leather work, foam smithing, coding because you have to code your LED lights, coding for like fog machines and stuff. Um, Sculpting, like foam, like clay sculpting, casting, silicone casting, wig styling, makeup artistry, photography, videography, video editing, like all of that. It's all under cosplay. It's crazy.
so you're basically a one woman studio walking around. You can do it all.
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah.
That's nuts. It's just awesome to see how many people are getting into it, and all the costumes that I've seen that you've done are really, really, really cool. I'll tell you right now, they're actually really cool, and that's the reason why I did reach out to you too, because I was like, man, she's got. I'm like, just kept going and looking around. I'm like, she does a really good job, and I've seen you actually once in person.
Oh,
You
really?
walk, yeah, LA Comic Con last year.
Oh, wait, what day? What day? What was I wearing?
You sat down in the chair that I had put down, and I was about to sit down myself. And I looked at you, and I just walked away. I was like, "Not even. I'm too tired. I'm not even going to. Not gonna. I don't know who she is. I don't. I'm just gonna walk away."
My
So yeah,
bad.
I've seen you in person once. I can't. I'm trying to remember what you were wearing. Do you remember what you wore to LA Comic Con?
I know I wore Blackfire, and I know I wore Mystique, and I'm trying to remember what the last one was.
Yeah, you weren't Mystique because I would have remembered you blue.
I
I can't.
honestly can't remember.
I can't either. I just remember seeing you, and I was like, I really was. I was like, I'm just too tired. I don't. I'm gonna walk
That's my
away.
bad.
But now you come back, LA Comic Con. You can now say hi.
Yes, now I know your face. I can actually, we are friends now.
We are friends. So, okay. So you've always done dance. Like, what was some of the like dance? Like, what did you do as far as
Ooh,
dance?
so I started at the age of 4.
Oh,
Yeah, I stopped dancing right after I graduated college. So I was like 23.
okay.
So a long time. Um, I started out with tap dancing,
Uh huh.
and then that branched off to jazz. And then I started taking ballet and modern and lyrical. And then when I got into college, I started taking hip hop. Um, I was also in color guard and marching band, so that also is dancing. It's a little bit different, obviously, because we're throwing guns in the air and catching them. But yeah, I also know like a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of Polynesian dancing because my sister and her fiance are Polynesian dancers. So
Oh, nice. That's
yeah,
cool. Wow, jeez, you're like multi-talented, multifaceted talent.
I
You're,
like to learn stuff. What can I say?
but that again, that is what, and it's funny because I mean, for the most part, us geeks are like that. We will start to learn something. And it's like, wait, I want to know that. I want to know. Like, I taught myself a lot of this stuff too, and I continue to want to learn. And that is also some of the cool things about cosplay is that you constantly are learning. You're never done.
Nope. There's always something else to learn. Always. That's why I love it because I continue. I can continue to pick up stuff. It doesn't end.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
It doesn't. There's endless amount of characters. There's endless amount of techniques and skills that you can learn. So it's like you can literally go forever.
You can. And like what you don't see on the other side of the camera is literally I have stacks of foam. I have heat press. I have like all that stuff is back there where I do my crafting. And it's just insane. Like I keep buying more and more. I'm like, does it ever end? Will it end?
It really doesn't.
So, now, seeing that, yes, we are both geeks. Right to say, right? Okay. Yep. So, as far as in the geekdom, what was it, besides cosplay that you like to do, what was the one or the first thing that you really got into when it comes to like in under the geek sun?
Pokemon.
Okay. That was when you were a lot younger?
Yeah, I was like, if you want to say like first, it was Pokemon. I was obsessed with the Pokemon games. I had to have every single one. I like started from the beginning, like Pokemon Yellow, and I had them all. After that, I started getting into anime. Even before I knew it was anime, when it was playing on like Adult Swim, I was like, I don't know what these shows are, but they're freaking awesome. And I was waiting every week for Bleach episodes to release and for Naruto episodes to release. And I think around that time, Dada started releasing. So then that happened, and then I learned what anime actually is, and I was like, I'm gonna keep doing that. I also play video games. I grew up with video games, but I was like, I'm not a hardcore video game person. I'm like a girly gamer, I guess. I played a lot of like Spyro the Dragon and like Mario and random like Disney franchise games or like Nickelodeon franchise games. Like I had the SpongeBob movie game, loved it. Yeah. So I don't know. I've just kind of been all over the place. There's not one specific thing that I'm like super obsessed with, I would say. I like a bunch of little things.
Well, I mean, I would say that for the most part, all of us are kind of like that. We're all over. I mean, yes, one of my biggest things for me is Star Wars. I mean, I've got freaking tattoos. I've got box. I like didn't even realize when I went into my shed today, I still had a huge tub of all kinds of Star Wars stuff. I was like, holy crap, where am I going to put this? But the thing is that I first started watching anime when Robotech came out. When they put it out for American viewers, it was like on at like 6 o'clock in the morning before I went to school. So that was my first anime. Then I started getting into more anime, and just like you, found Adult Swim and started watching Bleach, watching Naruto, watching like all those cartoons that were popping up. It was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's not just one thing. Like I will do anime, movies, TV shows. What's one of your favorite movies?
Queen of the Damned.
Okay.
I also really love Hellraiser. I'm actually like super, super obsessed with Hellraiser. I'm a reader too. I've been reading like since I could remember. I wasn't the kid who went outside. I was the kid who went to the library, checked out 12 books, read them all in a week, took them back, did it again. So I love The Hellbound Heart, which is what Hellraiser is based off of, the novel, the short novel. So I love all the Hellraiser movies. I'm obsessed with Pinhead. I'm obsessed with all the Cenobites. I love them so much. So that's another one of my favorite movies.
I'm a huge time reader, and I know somebody over on Instagram is probably gonna say something, but I love reading audiobooks. I don't know. They're good.
That's fair. I think audiobooks are reading. I don't care. I personally don't listen to audiobooks because I have a way, like in my brain, I have a way that I think that people should sound. And so if the reader doesn't sound like how I want the character to sound like, then I'm like, nah. So I just read it.
You know what? I'm kind of the same way. But the reason why I do audiobooks is because I got a long drive up to work. So I spend hours driving. So it's kind of nice to have something like that going. Like I listen to more audiobooks than I do music. When I start to get tired while I'm listening to the audiobook, then I'll turn on my music. But for the most part, I go through audiobooks. So
Cool.
I got a book for you. I got a book series for you.
Okay.
All right.
See if I've read it.
Oh man. See how you're a reader. Yeah, you might have already. So the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Okay, no, I haven't read it yet.
Yes. Okay, so it's a great, and I've been selling everybody on it because I've been listening to them, and I'm reading the second book. I'm actually physically reading it, which is a shocker for everybody. But it's supposed to be like the world has been repossessed by aliens. Everything's been sucked underneath the ground. Whatever humans were not in the buildings are given a chance to play a game, and they go down into the earth, and it's in the style of D&D. And the way it's read is they get achievements, they get they find loot boxes, all kinds. It's a really cool story. Carl is the hero, and he's been taken down into underground with his ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut. So there you go.
Cool. That sounds really interesting. I'll have to put it on the list.
It is. It's a great series. I'm Matt Dinniman, Dinniman. Yeah, Dinniman is the author.
I'll try to remember that.
And the Dresden Files.
I also haven't read that. I tend to read a lot of fantasy. I do read sci-fi. It's just like sprinkled in. It's like I lean fantasy and horror are like my two big genres.
So the Dresden Files is fantasy. It's about a wizard in modern day Chicago. Oh, and it's like the Fey world is real, and it ever so often slips into the real world. And Dresden is a wizard and a private eye.
Okay.
Freaking amazing. I'm telling you. Everybody that's over on Instagram, you guys don't even know. But yeah, awesome books. Anyways, sorry, I'm like I get all excited when it comes to the Dresden Files and all this other stuff.
It's okay. That's how I feel about cosplay. People will ask me questions and then I don't shut up and I'm like, I'm so sorry for just rambling on you. You asked me a single question and I wrote a whole novel for you. I apologize.
Well, tell me more about cosplay then. Just roll with it.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
There's so much. Give me something. Narrow it down a little bit for me. What do you want to know? What specifically would you like to know?
So you learn how to dabble in electronics. I'm going back to that because I've been messing with LEDs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Have you used that in a cosplay?
I have a little bit. I am still not very strong in the skill. But I have. So I think the first costume I put lights in was in 2018. That was just like a straight up like LED strip that you can buy off of like Amazon or whatever. Like, you know, like the car LED strips that you can like put on your dash. Mm-hmm. I bought one of those and put it in it was an armored version of Princess Kita by another artist that I like. I had lights in her staff and lights in her armor, her shoulder armor. And that was like super simple. And I've rolled with that for a long time. I would just buy like pre-strips of lights and just stick them in cosplay. And a lot of people do that. But I started trying to learn how to solder like a couple years ago. There is a cosplay duo that go by Kamui Cosplay, if you guys Don't
Oh
know
yeah,
who they are. Yeah, they're phenomenal.
they are.
Yeah, Svetlana is an amazing talent, and Benny he's an amazing painter. Like his paint jobs are so good. But they started talking about adding LEDs to their builds a couple years ago, and they wrote a book, and they were talking about coding, and so I bought her book. She always says, "Buy my books." I bought the book, and I started reading it and like studying up on it and trying to practice. I'm not good at all. I'm still learning to try and do more complicated circuits. Like a basic circuit is fine, but trying to do more complicated circuits where you have like a trigger or like a circuit board and stuff is a little bit out of my wheelhouse right now. But I'm working on it. Hopefully in the future I can do some really cool lights in a build. I would have to find a build that I would want to do lights in though. I'm sure one will come up.
So speaking of LEDs, yeah, that's my box of LEDs right now. I got multiple strips in here. I've got
so funny.
Yeah, this, and then what you don't see in the cupboards that are up, I've got my soldering. I've got what looks like an ammo can from Halo that's just filled with even more LEDs. And I've got the breadboards in there. I've got my freaking what do you call it? Raspberry Pi in there. I've got multiple boards. I attempted to do LEDs at one time.
They're a lot more challenging than I thought they were going to be. And I haven't even tried to work with the coding. And the way she talks about it, she's like, it's really easy. All you got to do is copy and paste and then change these few things. And then look, wow,
No,
and I'm like, no.
they're not. It's not. And see, I love her. She's amazing. Benny is amazing. But I've seen Benny in the background. You'll see him on the computer. It's him doing all the work. That's why she says, oh, it's easy. Because Benny's already figured it out.
Yeah, he does a lot of the like technical stuff. She's very hands-on. She likes foam work, sewing, all that. He's like digital patterns, 3D rendering, lights. But he does all the painting on their stuff too as well.
Oh yeah. Like they're a freaking amazing duo. That's just they come down to LA.
I know every once in a while they do, and I always miss them. I always miss my favorites. I will choose not to go to a convention that one year because money or whatever, and then they're like, so and so is gonna. I'm like, no.
Which I think they were at LA Comic Con this last year.
Were they?
They were. I think I saw them post it up because they like to come to LA, and what they'll do is they'll hit the garment district, and she'll take like 2 rolling bags, and she'll fill them up with material.
Yeah.
And
I know a lot of bigger cosplayers like to do that because it's a lot cheaper, especially where they live, because they have to pay a lot of import fees.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just easier just to fly to the country instead of ordering it and paying for the shipping.
Yeah, seriously, and especially if you get to go to a convention at the same time.
Yep.
So, all right. So LEDs, obviously, yes, they're challenging, which I just showed you my challenging with the box. Now, has there been a cause that you've started and just got so frustrated with that you kind of pushed it off to the side?
There have been like a few that I have started and then just never finished. A lot of it is not necessarily out of frustration. It's more of ADHD focus. Like my focus switches. I get hyper fixated on something new and then that is just out of my brain. Like I'll be working on a costume, like deep into working on a costume, and somehow a character will come along and I'm like, I want to do that. And it's when it starts keeping me up at night where I'm just like, oh, this is how I could do this and I could do this and these are the materials I want to get, and it just like goes, and then I'm like, my brain switches and I'm like, no, you want to do this now. that is no longer a thing. This is the new priority. I've gotten better at not doing that. But that is usually the reason I don't finish a costume. One of them was Nidalee from League of Legends. It was her snow bunny skin. It was literally because I cosplayed Nidalee a long time ago, back when I was a League head, when I loved League of Legends. And I did her regular skin, her original skin. Oh my gosh, can't talk. And her snow bunny skin is literally just the same skin, just in red. It's like Christmas colors, red and white and green.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that, but I was like, I've already made this, so it wasn't super interesting to my brain anymore because I was just doing the same thing twice, just in different colors. So I never finished that. I started another League of Legends cosplay. This was in like this was right before the pandemic, actually. Yes. So this is right before the pandemic. I started this big build of a character named Kaisa. She has like these like floating wings on her back that can like turn into like guns. Um, and she has this, I forgot what it's called. I think it's the arcade skin. Anyway, it's like a video game outfit. It's like video game themed, and her wings are like a PlayStation controller split in half, and
Oh,
then they
wow.
come around and connect together, and she can like use it to like shoot. Um, so I made like the shoe covers, I made the wings, I like figured out how to make them look like they're floating. I like cut acrylic and everything. I put LEDs in them so they glowed RGB. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I never finished it. It was supposed to be a competition build. Because I had just started getting into competing at the time, and I was really excited to bring her and like compete with her in like a bigger convention for the first time, because at the time I had only been competing at like smaller like 1 day conventions. And then and then COVID hit, and then I was like, well, I don't want to do it anymore because I can't compete. So I never finished it. I still have the wings in storage. I
Oh
still
my
have all
gosh.
the fabrics. So maybe I'll revisit it. I don't know.
You, I mean, you should. I mean, shoot, you've already got a chunk of it done, especially
I
the
did
wings.
so much work. Just on the wings alone, I probably spent like maybe like 50 hours on those
Oh
things.
my god.
And I just chucked it to the side. Like it was
Jeez.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, I can't say anything bad about that because I've done that myself. I've gotten into a project and it's like, yeah, this is how it's going to look. Yes, it's getting along, and then it's like, kind of bored of this. I don't want to do the intricate stuff, and I got to finish it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, don't get me started about like you get almost done and it's just like the little things that
Oh,
you really don't want to do, like sewing on snaps. Like
oh my god, yes. That's when it's like
like,
glue gun,
yeah.
whatever. Stab there. It's good.
I've learned my lesson. I do not use glue guns on anything anymore. No. I've had too many things fall apart. And like the one big thing about me is I've really been working on making my cosplays to last, because I know a lot of people, especially with like the rise of social media and the popularity of cosplay online, people are trying to like stay on trend and stay on like the newest anime or the newest video game or the newest whatever Marvel movie. A lot of people do that. And so they just make things really fast, and then it falls apart, and then it's just garbage. And I'm like, no, I would like to actually wear mine more than once. So I do like sew everything on, and no hot glue, only contact cement over here.
So I do use hot glue every so often, especially when on a time crunch. And
Fair.
I've learned to actually learned a couple techniques to get it to actually last and stay on.
Hmm.
So
Oh, like scoring and stuff.
yeah, you score it, but then I also cross it with extra, like I'll circle around it, like if it's Velcro,
Hmm.
I'll edge it and then I'll cross it with some more hot
Oh
glue.
yeah, yeah, like case it in on the outside.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
actually holds up. So I don't even.
yeah. I used to do that in the past too. I know those tricks.
Yeah, so then I mean, but that's how like in a time crunch, I gotta do it. Like I had to do one for a friend. She wanted to be the female Thor, Natalie Portman's Thor.
Oh, yeah, Lady Thor.
Yeah, Lady Thor.
Yeah.
So she hit me up at like the last, like she's like, I know it's last minute, 3 weeks before she was gonna go to Oogie Boogie night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, are you kidding? She's all like, but you're so good. You should. I'm like, oh, now you're hitting below the belt. You're like trying to talk me up, but you're good. You're blah blah blah. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do it.
Like, ah, okay.
Seriously. But here I was. I was like, I want to get this on the foam really well, and I was like, screw it, hot glue. I'm all burning things up. I'm like, all right, looks good here. It's yours. But it was still fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. So, but yeah,
That's like the whole point of cosplay is to have fun. As long as you have fun, I don't really care how you do it. It's just me personally.
now you've been doing cosplay for 9 years. You've been going to conventions. You've mentioned contests. Have you entered contests in the
Hmm.
past?
Yeah, my first contest was in 2018 at Anime on Display, which is a convention that doesn't even exist anymore. Um, it was in the California Bay Area. I can't remember exactly where. Somewhere in like San Francisco, San Jose area, somewhere over there. I was wearing the armored Princess Kita that I told you about. And I was just, walking around. It was like my very first like super big build. And I was really excited about it. It was my first time doing like a full armor thing and working with thermoplastics, my first time doing that too. Working with lights. I was like, I'm gonna put everything in this thing. It wasn't great by any means, but it was held together. And I was just walking around the convention, and there are people um, doing a hall cosplay contest, which I didn't know was a thing. And there are a few or conventions that still do them, but they're very few and far between. But essentially, they just go around with like clipboards, and they find your like if they like your costume, they'll just go up to you and like, hey, we're doing a hallway contest. Do you want to sign up? You sign up, you like write your character name, and your name, and then they took a picture of me to show to whoever was doing the judging behind the scenes. So they were just literally judging based off your picture. Um, and I was like, yeah, why not? I don't know what's happening. And they're like, okay, just come back to the closing ceremonies at the end of the convention and we'll be announcing the winners. And I was like, cool. I don't know what this is, but I'm just gonna go along with it. Like I've watched regular cosplay contests before, but I've never entered them. And this was very different from what I know cosplay contests to be. And yeah, so I went to the closing ceremony and I ended up winning. I ended up winning first place, which was super
Nice.
awesome. I won $50 and two pop figures. It was
Sweet.
Rick and Morty pop figures. And after that, I was like, maybe I could, maybe I could compete. This it sounds cool. Like I've always thought they were super cool. I always went out of my way to go to the masquerades when I first started going to conventions because I like cosplay, I like art. So seeing other people's art is really intriguing to me. So I was like, maybe I could start doing this. So I started with really small cons, like 1 day cons, and I won a couple more. And then, like I said, 2019, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a big one. And then COVID hit, and that kind of killed the dream for a few years, obviously for obvious reasons. And then in 2023, I re-entered again at a horror convention located in Sacramento, California called Sinister Creature Con. It's literally what it sounds like. It's all things horror. They have like horror actors and or from horror movies. Like they had people from Twilight last year. Um, yeah, I brought my Queen of the Damned cosplay, which I had made for that con slash for Halloween because the convention happens around Halloween
Oh, nice.
for obvious reasons. And yeah, I entered Masters category and I won. And then I haven't made a competition build since just because life got crazy. I had to move out of my apartment then because my roommate decided to move to Tennessee. And so I
Wow.
had to like move on my own and I had just gotten a new job and life was kind of crazy for a while. But I am actually planning my next cosplay like competition build, which I hope to bring to ALA next year.
Sweet.
Fingers crossed I can finish it because I am being very ambitious with this build.
All right. Well, we're gonna need to see what this looks like later on down the line once you're done. But really quick, I want to say hi to actually Love D's over on Instagram. Hi. um, so with my buddy Dennis, late check-in, background looks great, Gene. My buddy Dennis over here, he's like, he knows all about that. He's talking about my scattered brain going all over the place. So, but anyways, what's this? Show comments. Take the stage. Comments take the stage. I push something. We'll see what happens. Anyways,
okay.
yeah, I always love doing that. So okay, let's get down to the dark side of cosplayers.
Okay.
So, because I've run into some cosplayers in recent times that have been kind of, I guess, like a little bit too big for their britches. I'm going to say it in an old man term.
No, you're spot on.
Yeah, where they ask about, well, how many viewers do you have?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, how do you feel about like things like that? Like, you do a lot of work on your cosplays. Don't get me wrong, and it takes a long time. You said you spent 50 hours on one piece, which was your wings.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And I mean, I know that too. I've sat and built stuff, and I'll sit for hours, get lost. Oops, sorry. But how do you feel about some of those cosplayers out there that have gotten, I guess, a little bit too big for their britches?
Yeah. Excuse the derogatory language, but we like to call it like the circle jerk of cosplayers. They all kind of they want to if you don't have this if you're not on their level, what they deem to be their level, they don't want to have anything to do with you because a lot of these cosplayers that have big numbers are doing it for the attention. In my personal opinion, I don't want to like put anything on them, but personally, I think a lot of them tend to do it for the attention and do it for what they can gain out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're only willing to work with people who are going to further their cosplay career. And they end up just kind of staying in this little circle of each other. I also feel this way about conventions who invite cosplayers because you tend to see the same names. And I'm like, there are a lot of smaller cosplay creators, a lot of craftsmen that have like the most amazing like work, like the most amazing skills. Like I saw this girl recently, we just became mutuals. I don't know if you know the Wheel of Time series.
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen the Amazon Prime rendition
Mm-hmm.
of it? Okay. So, what is she called? Like the Countess? The one with the really long nails?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I know who you're
She
talking about.
made that costume and it literally looks like you pulled it out of the screen. Like it's that accurate. and she only has like maybe 2,000 followers online. Like beautiful, amazing work, and like nobody would care because she doesn't have a huge following. I don't like that. I've dealt with people like that. I've dealt with people who were all about trying to get on the in with that group of people just to also be popular, and I also don't really like that. I'm like, we're all nerds playing dress up, guys. Can we just be nice to each other, please? Like
Yeah.
if we're friends, let's just be friends. I don't care what your numbers look like. Like I have friends who have way bigger followings than me, and we're all just weirdos at the end of the day. So like,
Well, now, I mean, it's all about the numbers for some people. It's all about, how do you feel about those that well, they're not really cosplaying. They're putting on some store-bought costume that they buy, and they're usually women,
mhm.
and they're just ripping the front down so they can show whatever body parts they want, or
Yeah.
they're the ones that are getting the thousands of followers. They're making money because they've got a line of people. How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's not their fault that they're capitalizing on a society that is all about sexualization of women's bodies. Uh, if you know the history of cosplay was built on the backs of sexy ladies. It truly was. Like there are rules and conventions that say no cosplay is not a cosplay because people used to show up literally naked to conventions in the early days and say that it was their costume. So like I can't fight with them on that. Does it make me upset sometimes because I feel like some other people who are like because I love craftsmen, like I like the crafty side of cosplay. Do I feel like more people deserve to be pushed out, and do I feel like the algorithms don't pick them up correctly? Yes, but also like no fault on them. Like all cosplay is valid cosplay, and I truly believe that. Wear a bikini if you want to. I don't care.
You honestly you're really nice. You are, because um
It can I truly understand. It does get frustrating,
it
but
is.
I'm just like you just can't let it get to you. And like
I know.
they're doing what society is going to give them money for, and like no fault to them. That's the way society works. Truly, I if it wasn't making money, a lot of them probably wouldn't do it, but it does. So
That's the crappy thing. I mean, and
yeah,
Dennis here is saying, meanwhile, you're putting in the time and effort into your builds, still sexy, but stays true to the build,
yes,
which
and that's another thing because like a lot of these like sexy cosplayers who make a lot of their money on their sex appeal are actually extremely talented craftsmen. Like
some
I know there are a lot of hidden gems out there. I mean the biggest one obviously we know is Jessica Negri. She's an amazing craftsman. She makes almost every single cosplay she does, but she just happens to be a sexy cosplayer. Um, I know some girl, Kate Sarkisian, we happen to be mutuals online. She makes her money as a sexy cosplayer, bikini cosplayer, but when she makes stuff, it is like perfection. I just watched her recently ventilate a whole wig. If you guys don't know what that means, it means she hand sewed every individual piece of hair into a wig because she couldn't find a wig that she liked.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So like they're doing it obviously because it makes them money. It's their job at the end of the day, but they're
Mhm.
still super super talented in the craftsman side. So
And that no, like that I'll agree with you. Like those, and even like again, Dennis here puts up Jessica and Yaya Han, who
yeah. Yeah, Yaya Han also she likes to lean kind of sexy sometimes too. She does more I think she kind of covers up a little bit more in comparison to
yeah,
Jessica. if you were to compare the two. But Yaya Han is not afraid to show off her goods if she wants to. It's just hot women. Hot women have always been in the cosplay community.
Well, but the thing is that she's like those two examples. They're examples of ones that actually do the craft.
Hmm.
And I don't care. You want to design a freaking Vampirella costume, but you're making it yourself.
Hmm.
By all means, knock yourself out, show off whatever you want to show off, but you're trying to make it comic book accurate. Make, that's the key word for me.
Yeah, I used to be very that way. I feel like it can lean a little elitist at times. Again, cosplay is a hobby. If you can't afford to buy the materials to make your costume, and all you can do is piece together a couple things from your costume or your closet, like who am I to say that that's not cosplay just because you didn't make it? Again, so it's like everybody's scenario is different. Some people just want to put on a cute outfit or a slutty little outfit and just run around and have fun. And that's, as long as you're having fun at the end of the day, that's truly all I care about. The cosplay should be fun. Yeah.
No, and that's cool. I guess I'm just old and crotchety, and you're like,
It has
man,
evolved, especially with cosplay coming more into the mainstream. Like back then, making was kind of the only way you could cosplay, just because there wasn't any resources. When I started cosplaying, EVA foam and Warbler was like just becoming the new thing. Now we've got like foam clay, and now we have all of these places that sell pre-made costumes, which make it a lot more accessible for people. And not everybody's gonna want to make. Some people just literally just want to play dress up.
and that's cool. And,
Yeah.
and like you said, there's a lot of companies that are actually making money off of that, because the people who do have the cash to be able to buy those things, they just want to dress up. So
yeah, they just want to dress up. And sometimes the cost benefit, when you take like the difference between buying and then buying all the materials, and then also the time, like the cost of labor, buying is sometimes way cheaper than making it, if you really take into consideration too. So some people are like, I just don't want to spend the hours, or I don't have the hours to make something, and I just want to throw on an outfit.
and that's cool. Like, we see it all the time at all the conventions. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with it. But like for me, it was always just being across from some of the booths that we've been across and seeing some. It's like,
Yeah, they are the ones that get the most attention,
and it's a
which
shame.
which is kind of sad.
Yeah,
But then you get the few that do get like that are craftsmen. And I feel like a lot of conventions are kind of leaning more into the craftsmen, because they realize that they can bring a lot more to a convention in terms of education. So I've seen a lot of like cosplayers are required to do educational panels now. Cosplayers are doing craftsman judging for the cosplay contests, which obviously you need knowledge to do. Obviously, I've seen them do. I'm losing the word. Workshops, like
mhm.
foaming 101, like build a shield or whatever, and that adds to the convention experience. So I think a lot of cons are kind of leaning that way. I know the Fan Expo convention chain are very heavy on their craftsmen, like bringing in craftsmen and smaller craftsmen as their judges and as their guests, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's really cool because then you get a lot more companies that are coming out to these things that are selling the products that we want to buy, as far as
Mm-hmm.
materials and props and stuff like that. Whereas,
Yeah.
granted, my first con was a strictly comic book convention. Like it was just comic books, and it's kind of dating myself, because it was like, I'm going to a comic book convention. They're like, ooh, what a big nerd! All there is comic. Yeah, there was back in the day. That's all I was going for. Then,
Yeah.
then the cons started changing. You started getting more toys, and
Mm-hmm.
then more movies were coming in, because studios realized, holy crap, we are missing out on a huge demographic. All them nerds. We need to get them. So, and now here we are, fast forward to where now we're building our costumes, we're showing them off more, and we need more companies that create EVA foam, which my buddy Dennis, shout out to SKS Props. Great foam. A lot of great videos that they put out there. A lot of great patterns that they put out. Like, there's a lot of great things that they do. If you haven't checked them out, you should check them out. They've got some great stuff.
Yeah, I gotta look because a lot of foam shops have been closing recently due to the government.
Whoa.
So,
Shh. They're listening.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Skynet's listening.
So yeah, I always try and find, because I like to buy my foam from not Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
Decent size roll too.
Yeah, it was. It was actually, and this was only $15 for this thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I better pick this up. For all them cosplayers out there that use EVA foam for, like some props and costumes, I actually have used EVA foam as texture all around the edge of my stuff because I like the texture, which you can't really see it, which kind of sucks, but you can kind of see the gray up top because I haven't painted that. So it's it's used for a lot, and I've learned all that from cosplaying. But it's crazy. The world of cosplay has come so far, and I'm going to say thanks to conventions, but also to you from YouTube.
Yeah, truly, I think YouTube was like the biggest way for cosplay to grow. Also, what was it? Was it just cosplay.com? Was that it? I think it was a cosplay forum when forums existed. And that was also a really big resource for a lot of cosplayers back then, because it was literally just people asking questions and people giving answers of what they'd done in the past or sharing their builds and how they built things. Which is the same with cosplay or YouTube on like cosplay YouTube channels where they just do tutorials on stuff. I mean, that's how I learned a lot of my stuff, a lot of the techniques I know, and even like basic sewing on YouTube and like watching like quilting ladies teach you how to sew a square. It really helped. It really did help grow.
No, I mean, seriously, it does. It's YouTube University is amazing. There's so many things that I've learned just from watching YouTube, and it extends past the cosplay stuff. I mean, there's a lot of other things that I've learned, but what I've noticed too is a lot of cosplay groups that are starting to emerge and step out of the cons and starting to do their workshops outside. And these like one that I just met, which was Nerd Mafia. And they like to go and do workshops for kids and teach them how to build basic stuff using EVA foam and things like that, which is really cool.
Yeah. I've done something similar, but it didn't turn out the way I had anticipated. I got invited to this event where they wanted to introduce kids to cosplay, and they were gonna do like some sort of crafting thing. This is the way they pitched it. Like, it was gonna be like a crafting session where you could help kids alter pre-made costumes to make them unique, right? That's what they wanted to do. It was not that. It was kind of just like people showed up and picked a costume that they like and then just left. And I was like, okay, I'm here in full costume, trying, like, being hopeful that I'm going to help these kids. And it really was not that. And I was like, okay. But yeah, that's really cool.
It's cool when it in your mind you're like, oh my god, I can do so much for these kids, and then all of a sudden you're like,
Yeah. Yeah. So having real workshops is really cool. I would love to put together a workshop and or do even just a panel. I'm terrible at public speaking. I've gotten better. Cosplay actually has helped me with that. Crazy. Um, so I've been like building the confidence to like pitch a panel for a con because I really love the education side of cosplay. I like making tutorials and YouTube videos and stuff. So I'm like, I want to bring that in real life. And I love talking about it. If you couldn't tell, I love talking about cosplay. I will not shut up about it. So if I could do it more, I would.
well, shoot, you should definitely do like a channel of videos, like tutorials of your own.
I am working on it. So I do have a YouTube channel,
Okay.
Cosplay. And it's a mix of things. I kind of keep it not a little more broad in terms of like my niche as I like to tell you, niche down. So it's just cosplay and like crafty things. So I do like convention vlogs too, but I do builds, like film my builds and like break them down. I've done a couple talk throughs of like cosplays that I've made like way in the past. Like I just recently posted a video talking about how I made my Blackfire cosplay because a lot of people were wondering. Um, but those take a long time to make. That's the only thing. I'm like, I have an adult job. I can't sit and edit all the time. Like sometimes I have like what was the video? I think it was my Storm because I did Asgardian Storm last year, yeah, 2024. And I finally got around to editing the video and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put in all the footage so I can edit. It was 6 hours of footage that I had to go through. And like it takes so long to edit down. So they're very few and far between. I wish I could do more often, but I don't have the time. It's hard.
And see, that's kind of my issue too. Is like I'd love to make a lot more videos, and I have done the research. And you need help, I can give you some pointers on how to do that stuff, where it'll cut down your editing to next to nothing when it comes to doing your stuff. I've learned how to set up extra cameras and using a program that I could just boom, 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 hit, and I switch to my different positions, and I'm cutting on the spot. So when it comes down to it, all it is trim a little bit.
Yeah,
So
I think the biggest problem is just that cosplay builds take so many hours. Like I'm gonna say like minimum I'm putting in 50 hours in like one costume.
Yep.
I have costumes that are 100+ hours that I've put in. So just trying to film all of the steps, you cut 50 hours and you're only filming chunks. Eventually the 6 hours is really a fraction of the full thing. And then you have to cut that fraction down into digestible chunks for everybody to watch and add commentary so that it's interesting.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. People
are better though.
Yeah, you know what? But what's funny is that people think that this stuff is like really easy. Oh yeah, I can make my own videos. And then when you actually get down to it, you're like, holy crap, how do these people do it? Yeah. Some of us
want it to be a nice, good edited video. It takes a lot more effort than people think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And staying on top of all of the platforms, because then you got to do like all of the platforms, and that's a lot too. And then you have to find the time to actually make the things that you're filming to make videos out of.
Yep. Preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. I know what you're talking about. Trust me. I struggle with it all the time. Like I really wanted to do a better, like I actually wanted to do a step-by-step of what I'm doing. I was like, no.
Yeah. I also get where I just like forget. I just forget to film. Like I'll just be really in making something and then I'll forget to film. And then I'm like, well, I gotta scrap it because I just made like half the costume without filming it because I was just really in it.
You're like,
There's that too.
yeah, I didn't press play.
Yeah,
I didn't record.
I didn't start it. Okay, well.
Oh, man. All right. You know what, Morgan? It's been awesome talking to you. And I was looking at the time now. We've been on for a while.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this is what I always tell like a lot of our guests, because sometimes we do get guests that are like, well, I'll give you like 45 minutes. Cool. We'll do 45 minutes, 30 minutes. All right. Hour and a half later, they're like, oh my God, we've been on for this.
It goes by really fast.
It does. Because once you
Yeah.
get that conversation going, and especially if you're talking about something that you love,
Mm-hmm.
you lose track of that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do that to you. I'm sure you have to go to work tomorrow.
I do,
don't.
unfortunately. Yes.
Oh.
Gotta
See,
pay the bills.
I don't believe in bills anymore. I know I shouldn't be telling somebody that works where you work, but no, I'm kidding. I'm actually on leave.
As long as you don't come across my desk, I don't care.
Well, see, now you know the face, and you're gonna be all like, no.
I actually cannot. It's like the rules of my job. If I know you, I have to give it to somebody else.
Sweet, awesome. Moving on to something else. I'm gonna have to get to know everybody over there, and they'll be all like, we can't do anything to them.
We can't do anything.
But you know what? It was awesome having you on. Would love to have you on again later on, seeing some of your, more costumes that you build. I'm sure we are going to run across each other's paths soon, because I do travel between up north and down south with all the cosplays that are going on, or all oh my God. Conventions. There we go. Yes. But you also go to one that I'm actually going to probably try to make, which is the Weekend Benders or Weekend.
The Weekend Blenders.
Yes. Weekend Blenders. There you go.
Yeah. I will be there.
So Project Wish Upon a Star, which is, he's gone. It's all right. Darren, he goes to all of those.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a great guy to get in contact with. If you ever want to do stuff like what you were mentioning about doing things for kids, they are a children's charity that you might talk to. Just saying. Or Sack Geek, which is James, which is on our stream right now, who is he's one of the guys from Distance Nerding podcast. He's another one that you can definitely probably connect with, and they would.
Yes, I've heard their name before.
They're all right. I mean, yeah. No, I'm kidding. I love the guys. I love James. We go way back, but literally, we all go way back. We've done a lot of things together, so it's a lot of fun to make fun of them. And then, tell us where everybody can find you. Give us everything. Lay it out there.
You can find me on pretty much everything at Cosplay. I don't do X. Don't really like it over there. But like almost everything else, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in that. I post full photo sets of all of my costumes. I do behind the scenes progress videos over there, patterns, exclusive videos just for my patrons as well. So if you want to check that out. But yeah, other than that, if you want to see me free, like I said, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are like my main four.
Guys, seriously, check out her stuff. It is amazing work that she does. She puts a lot of time, as we've already heard, anywhere between 50 to 100 hours on some stuff. Oh, look at that. I saw the heart. You use an iPhone.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I was struggling to set up my camera, and I was like, phone it is. It's fine.
It works. It's great. It looks good still. So it's fine. We'll get those cool little emotes. Like, I haven't seen the thumbs up yet, but it's all right. Is it? There we go. I got a thumbs up. We're just going to... Guys, if you guys get over to the Weekend Blenders, which is usually up north, Central California.
The The next
Where's
one will be in Tracy, California, June 7th and 8th. And if you want to figure out when they're going to have their other ones, because they have them from Clovis all the way to Citrus Heights, go ahead and check them out on Instagram at the Weekend Blender 1. You can check them out and look at their events. It's completely free and super fun.
And it's a chance to meet Morgan in person, take pictures with her, help her spread the word about cosplay. Guys, thank you so much for being on. I'm going to let you go.
Sure.
If I find my mouse again. It's somewhere. There you are. There. It bounces between multiple screens, so
I know that life.
all right, Morgan. Then I'm going to let you go so you can get to bed. I'll talk to you later if
Sure.
that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Definitely. All right, Morgan, have a good night.
You too. Bye, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for being on, watching this, guys. Thanks to Morgan for being on. Cos Bunny Cosplay. She does have some pretty awesome costumes that I've seen that she's posted up. So check her out. Check out everything she does. And then when you go to these cos events, which up north mainly, and if you see her, you go up to her, say hi, take a picture with her, spread the word. All right, guys. So next week, where am I going to be next week? I don't even know where I'm going to be next week. I know I'm going to be somewhere. Let's see. Let me tell you guys right now. Next week is I don't even know. Oh, the 4th, June 4th. I'll be at the other location, so I'll be filming up there. I'm hoping to spruce that up and make that look really good. But we will be back here next week. You're gonna be pooping. No, thank you, Dennis. No, I will not. I probably will, but that's because that's just a normal bodily function. So, but next week, guys, we'll be back here with some news, with some history. I don't have anybody lined up for right now as far as other guests, but really looking forward to having more guests because we met a lot of great people over the weekend, and also we continue to meet a lot of great people. So, guys, be back here next week. Oh, and really quick, wait, where's my mouse? See, I keep losing this there. Wait, there it is. No. Come back. There you are. All right. Leave you right there. All right. Couple things to check out really quick so you guys could look up, like I mentioned, Nerd Mafia. Check them out, nerdmafia.com. They're another great organization that is out there to spread the word about cosplay also, and also help kids to learn how to build cosplay and a lot of great stuff like that. Sack Geek, since I've got James watching over there, another great group, which is up north over there in Sacramento. They have some people down here too. The LA Ghostbusters, which, guys, if you're watching, I am so sorry. Audio cut out during that interview. It was a great interview too. I love talking to those guys, but we'll try to get you guys on really soon. Trying to think of, I think it was Enter the Podcast was another podcast group of podcasters that I met over the weekend. One of the guys is a fellow veteran, and we talked for like 30 minutes just standing there talking about all our fun times. But check them out also. So anyways, guys, that is it for me tonight. We will be back here, same geek time-ish, same geek channel here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. No, not Facebook. I don't like Facebook anymore. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. And we'll be doing the same thing all over again next week. You'll be seeing this wonderful face. Unfortunately, not this great background, but that's all right. But come back next week, Wednesday at 7:30, guys. So as the saga continues.